What was the social and political context surrounding the 1964 election? What was the social and political context surrounding the 1964 election? The 1964 United States presidential election unfolded during a time of great change and uncertainty. The nation was still reeling from the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963. This tragic event led to Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson stepping into the presidency. Johnson quickly became the Democratic nominee for the upcoming election, and his rise came during a period of national mourning. For the Republican Party, the 1964 election represented a critical moment in its history. Many conservative activists were unhappy with the moderate approach of previous Republican candidates, such as Richard Nixon. They sought a candidate who would better representing their values and beliefs. This desire for a more conservative nominee led to the emergence of Senator Barry Goldwater from Arizona as the Republican frontrunner. Goldwater's campaign focused on principles like low taxes, limited government, and a strong stance against communism. However, Goldwater's views on certain issues made him a controversial figure. His opposition to the Civil Rights Act of 1960 and his willingness to consider using nuclear weapons were points of contention. The social context of the time was heavily influenced by the civil rights movement. Johnson's support for civil rights legislation, particularly the Civil Rights Act of 1964, became a major topic during the campaign. This act aimed to eliminate discrimination based on race, color, religion, or national origin. The Democratic Party's strong support for civil rights began to change the political dynamics in the South. Southern states, which had traditionally supported the Democratic Party, started to shift toward the Republican Party. Goldwater's stance on states' rights and his opposition to federal civil rights legislation appealed to many in these regions. The political landscape was further complicated by divisions within the Republican Party itself. Moderate Republicans, like Nelson Rockefeller, did not support Goldwater, viewing him as too extreme. This division highlighted the growing conservative movement that would shape the party's future direction. Although Goldwater lost the election, his campaign laid the groundwork for modern conservatism. It influenced future leaders like Ronald Reagan and set the ideological course for the Republican Party. The 1964 election had lasting effects on both political parties. For Republicans, it marked a shift toward more conservative policies and a reevaluation of their stance on civil rights and government intervention. For Democrats, it solidified Johnson's position and allowed him to push forward with his Great Society programs, which included significant social welfare initiatives. Additionally, the election showcased the role of television in politics, with negative advertising becoming a more common tactic. In summary, the 1964 election was a transformative moment for the Republican Party. It set the stage for future conservative movements, and despite the loss, Goldwater's campaign galvanized forces that would lead to Republican successes in the years to come.